Good afternoon, everybody, and I'm happy to see that you are still standing strong, dedicated, and determined to make a difference in this great city of San Francisco. So on behalf of the family, on behalf of Justice for Mario Woods Coalition, the announcement that I would like to make is an invitation. The Department of Justice COPS program will be coming to the Justice for Mario Woods Coalition meeting on next Thursday. We meet at SEIU 1021 350 Rhode Island. So all of you who have issues around killer cops here in San Francisco, come and let the Department of Justice hear your pain, because they cannot go back to Washington without hearing you. They have came before, and Justice for Mario Woods, we shut them down. So now they want to come exclusively to talk with our coalition, and I want all of you to come, because I don't believe they heard your stories. So you have to make a concerted effort so that they can go back and take these messages to Loretta Lynch, so we can have an independent civil rights investigation into these rogue cops around the nation. So promise me that you will be there Thursday, this coming Thursday, Cinco de Mayo. I know all of us want to have some margaritas and some chips, but it's really important that you come and let the Department of Justice hear from you, so they can take our concerns back to Loretta Lynch and President Obama in Washington, D.C. Are you coming? Yeah. Are you going to be there? Yeah. 350 Rhode Island, 6 p.m. Come and have our voices heard. Thank you.
Again, we want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for giving your ears to hear our stories, to let us share some words with you. And of course, we want to say thank you to the ILWU Longshoremen Union right here in San Francisco, Local 10, for being so progressive. And I will be turning this mic over to, again, your brother, Clarence Thomas. But right before we do that, as we open, I again like to take our hats off to our brother, Harry Bridges, for having this plaza here for us to speak at. Thank you, Harry. Thank you all from the families. We love you. Bobby. All right. Over the years, ILWU Local 10 has had several coalition partners, organizations that are committed to economic and social justice. One of those organizations is known as ANSWER, Act Now to Stop War and End Racism. And the woman that I'm about to bring to the stage has been with us in so many battles, along with her partner, Dick Becker. I'd now like to call Sister Gloria Lariba to the stage. Sister Gloria, would you please come to the stage, please? Oh,
thank you, Clarence. And thank you for organizing this great march. I want to say that to the mothers and fathers, sisters, all the family members and loved ones of those who have been murdered by the police, is our solidarity and sympathy forever. Because you joined a club you never wanted to join, but you've held up a torch for anyone who would be a potential victim of the cops, and all those who have been murdered since your loved ones have died. Last year there were 1,200 people that we know of, because there's not an official count, of men and women who've been murdered by the police in the United States. And of those 1,200, disproportionately we know black and brown youth were murdered, but also 600 white people, which shows you anyone could be a victim. And we demand, on behalf of the Answer Coalition, not just to jail killer cops, but to disarm them. Because remember when Beyonce was playing in Miami after she did the Super Bowl, and the cop says, "We're not going to protect her, stay home." Nation of Islam said they would protect her. Yeah, that was a good message. Let's keep doing that. And I want to salute the International Longshore and Warehouse Union, because you have not only fought valiantly for your workers ever since the days of the general strike, but you have gone beyond the issue of wages and conditions and contract
to fight for others, to make it a real union for the working class, who fought for 11 days to keep down the ports, shut down the ports of the West Coast, to stop the apartheid regime, Ned Lloyd's ship, successfully, who shut down the shipping for Chile, for police victims, for so many, many causes, El Salvador and on. And I work at the Chronicle as an artist, I'm not a writer. And in 1994, on November 10, the night before our 11-day strike started, we set up a picket line at the ships, and the longshoremen refused to unload the newsprint for that strike. So we owe a lot to you, too. Everybody does. The issue of International Workers' Day, the fact that it began in Chicago, we've come full circle to those cops that murdered the strikers of the McCormick Harvester Company on May 1st, 1886, to those who helped arrest and prosecute some of the strikers, the anarchists, the socialists who were fighting and who got hung. They were executed by the police state of Chicago. But we've also come full circle, to see the police brutality in Chicago. The city has paid $660 million to families for those that they've murdered. That's 2/3 of $1 billion. And they had a dungeon torturing people for decades. And then they murdered Laquan McDonald, and they don't realize what they did with their cover-up until the people fighting and the investigators uncovered this cold-blooded slaughter of a 16-year-old. But that's the story of thousands in this country. Of Mario Woods, of Alex Nieto, of Amilcar Perez Lopez, of Idris Stelling, of Andy Lopez in Santa Rosa, of the latest one, Luis Gongora. And we can't stop, sisters and brothers. I also want to say, as I end, that I'm also running for President of the United States. As a socialist, as someone who's been in the struggle for many years, hoping for the nomination in August of the Socialist Peace and Freedom Party, which is on the ballot since 1968 in this state, always in these marches, always in the actions. And I say, if you're voting in the Democrat primary, vote for Bernie Sanders. There's got to be a fight against that warmonger Hillary Clinton, among other things that she is. But she's evil as all get out. So I wish to say this: let's stand together in solidarity with all the family members of those, and to get justice for our brothers and sisters who've been gunned down by the cops. I want to say one more thing. I've never seen a greater increase in cowardice on the part of the cops, who in the last 30 years with the growing police murders, I was afraid. Mike Brown, he looked like Hulk Hogan to me. Knowing he was unarmed, he'd shot him and he got off with it. Or saying he had a knife. How many of us know that if we face someone with a knife, we know how to deal with the situation? Just as a common person. You don't need to gun someone down. So thank you all. Long live International Workers' Day. Long live International Workers' Solidarity.
The next brother, comrade that I'm going to bring to the mic is someone who I have been involved with for a long time. He was a very important element of the Mayday Rank and File Organizing Committee. He's been involved in the struggle for the Oscar Grant Coalition and many, many other movements to describe at the moment. Brother Gerald Smith is now going to come to the mic and introduce a very important message for someone who means a great deal to all of us. Brother Gerald.
Thank you very much, brother. I know there have been changes in terms of the new generations that have entered our movement. But I want you to know that the struggle to free what sometimes are called political prisoners must continue. What is a political prisoner? There are many American officials that will claim there are no political prisoners in the United States. Political prisoners are people who end up behind bars for defending their point of view. In America, the way they deal with that is when they don't want a point of view to be held, they frame people up through their crooked judicial system. One such person is Brother Mumia Abu-Jamal. On April 24th of 1999, the International Longshoremen and Warehousemen's Union shut down the ports from Canada to Mexico, demanding the freedom of this upstanding militant who had been framed for a murder that he did not commit in Philadelphia. All right? That brother, I've been working on this case since 1987. He's still in prison. And I haven't given up, and nor have thousands of other people who still support him. He deserves our support. Oh, yes.
The person that I'd like to bring to the stage right now is going to speak on the behalf of a brother who's in prison on death row. His name is Kevin Cooper. I would now like to ask Carol Seligman to come up to speak, please. Carol, where are you? Oh, very good.
Mayday started as an international strike for the 8-hour workday. In Chicago in 1886, police killed strikers and attacked the workers' demonstrations. Cops died from friendly fire, and the state framed 8 workers who they knew were innocent. 4 were executed in 1887. This May Day, we protest the continuing police murders. We demand cops stop killing Black and Latino youth. And we demand that Governor Brown grant clemency to Kevin Cooper, a Black man who has been on death row for over 30 years, the victim of a racist frame-up, who is innocent. Kevin Cooper was convicted of murdering a family in San Bernardino County. The one surviving child told investigators at the time that 3 white or Hispanic men killed his family. Over 140 wounds were inflicted on the 5 victims, multiple weapons used. One person could not have done that. Yet Kevin Cooper, who was near the area where the murders took place, was framed. The Sheriff's Department discarded and tampered with key evidence. Despite overwhelming proof of Kevin Cooper's innocence, he's run out of appeals. Therefore, his lawyers and supporters have asked Governor Brown to grant Kevin clemency, to reinvestigate his case, and to ask for a new trial based on evidence the state has never yet investigated. You can help. There's a petition to sign and distribute. It's right at that table. Write the governor. Ask your union and church to write. The death penalty must end and Kevin Cooper must be free. Years ago, the freed slave Frederick Douglass told of the cold-blooded murder of a slave, a man who refused to come out of a creek where he was trying to ease the pain of a whipping. The slave overseer shot and killed this man. Asked why he killed him, the overseer said the slave was setting a dangerous example to other slaves, and this could result in the freedom of all slaves. It is this same logic that framed and executed the Haymarket workers in 1887. and which has framed an innocent man, Kevin Cooper, today. This is the logic of the death penalty, the murdering or imprisoning of innocent human beings in order to intimidate all the rest of us. We must put an end to this injustice. Please help stop the death penalty in California and stop the state from killing Kevin Cooper.